it's, navigating the world as an introvert. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but it is a way that has worked. And with different personality types, maybe my way would also work for you or your listeners.
I mean, out of your book, and I imagine it's the same thing because you're talking about self-auditing and figuring out where you are. At the core, I mean, authenticity is the heart of it all. It's too difficult to maintain a mask. And I love that authenticity is the heart of what you do.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And the one thing that when you're talking remind me of that I'll also share with the your listeners is maybe think of imposter syndrome when we're talking about authenticity. And I was talking with someone just a couple of days ago about this you don't have to show up and act like you know everything. Just say, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on here. And I said, then it takes all the pressure off of you, and somebody is going to be thrilled to share their knowledge with you and help walk you through the steps.
Hi, friends. This is James and Kara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
and us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Good morning, friends.
Thank you for joining Kerouacs Cruising. Today's guest knows what it's like to sit in the corner, watch life's conversation, and wonder how to join in without losing yourself. Nick Shelton went from a shy introvert to the author of Introverts Guide to World Domination, a book that teaches us how to navigate high-level connections without pretending to be someone else. He's a veteran, a strategist, and a deep thinker about how introverts can flourish in a world built for extroverts. In our conversation, we'll explore how Nick's transformed awkwardness into authenticity, built relational strengths on his own terms, and what it really means to dominate, not being loud, but being true. Welcome, Nick Shelton.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So in addition to, which we absolutely loved, the Introverts Guide to World Domination, when I saw that in your email, I was just like, I need this book in my life. Just because of the title alone, I just had to know what it was about. And James mentioned to you before we started recording that we learned so much. We didn't realize how badly we needed this book.
And
frankly.
that book kept us engaged.
It was so fun.
Because of the humor that you brought to it. And we didn't really know that we needed to meet other people.
Well, I guess
we didn't know how to network. We didn't know how to network. And you had so much common sense advice in that book. I was like, man, we can do some of that for our podcast to grow our podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the book.
Your antidotes,
Absolutely.
Your stories just make you feel like it's not like you. I'm always afraid of talking to people because I'm like, oh, they're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to think I'm awkward. But your stories and your antidotes and the success that you're bringing us to realize is like, I just can't do it wrong. Like you just go talk to people and it's going to be okay.
Right. And what I tried to do there is, I always think about in the military, everyone knows about the making of the bed, and they break it down into simple steps where a genius or the opposite of a genius can all make the bed the same way. And so I said, well, what could I do where it's just simple steps where you can just say, okay, I can, instead of just saying, walk into a room and do this, it's more, okay, well, what would I actually do? What could I do that I actually would do, which is, sort of like when I talk about just locate the food, locate the snacks, go there. And then, I'm trying to take the guesswork out of it. Hold a pen in your hand. That's something with one of your hands, and the other one has your saucer with the 3 cookies on it or something, So we're just covering all these just basic little things that you can do look around the room, the hunting introverts, look around the room and find someone who looks like you feel, and go over there and open up with them. So it's just these little things that I found. If you have some kind of process, then it's easy to go, okay, well, what do I do? Oh, there's the food. Let me go over there. Or that's obviously an introvert over there. Let me go over there. Or it's just these little simple little things that I really like. Let me ask you about did you make it through the entire book?
Yes.
Okay. So
your feet eating that meal was, I was cringing for you.
The bird poop.
Yes. The diplomatic eating. Yes. There's all kinds of, and a lot of people will never have to deal with that. But I was wondering what you thought about the meeting the VIP at a social event, like the speaker of the VIP. Do you remember that part where you, instead of going
I like
directly
to go to the people that are around the VIP and meet some of those people?
It's easier.
It's a lot easier. And then, that I like that.
It feels tangible. Like, even if you never meet the VIP, I'm not going to be terrified to meet his BFF.
Right. Exactly. It's such a low bar, low pressure, and nobody's trying to meet that person.
Yeah.
So
that was a good angle.
Yeah.
That was a super angle. Oh yeah.
Your strategies, I mean, you still are left with you have to have the motivation to start,
right.
and that's the inner part of it. So can I ask you you get very vulnerable in the book. You went through some tough times, and it sounds like, again, and we'll circle back around to your journey currently, but to overcome and make those steps, being so inverted, to, even if you have the system, to just go to that first person and start that first conversation. What did you have to go through internally to get yourself to start doing this on a regular basis?
Well, I knew that nothing was going to change if I didn't take a step, so I just was like, well, let me just show it. So the main thing, show up. I would say show up. So I say, well, if I just show up, even the first 10 times, I don't want to put pressure on myself to have to do anything. Just be there. Just be there and watch. And then, from there, I can take the next step. But, I was just like, well, if I want something to happen, I at least need to find the event and be in the room. And then if I'm just there for 10 minutes and then I leave, I go to the bathroom and then leave, then that's fine. Because, and one of the things I talk about also, that meeting just one person, because everyone's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to meet everybody and I'm all this. But if you just say, I'm just going to make one connection, I'm going to meet one person, then it takes the pressure off. You could walk in, introduce yourself to somebody, turn around and walk out. It's so, as long as, so for me, it was a lot to take that first step, but I just said, well, it doesn't have to be a lot because I can control when I leave.
Yeah.
So I can show up, and then I'm not forced. No one's saying you have to be here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I can just go in and just expose myself to as much as I feel comfortable with in that moment. And then I can always exit and then review what happened and then go back.
And I want to give away the whole book, because I feel like we could go through everything and talk about all the golden nuggets, but you give a lot of strategies so that the space in and of itself will feel more like your space, and that people are in your space and you feel more comfortable, as opposed to you stepping in and everybody's already settled in doing their own thing. So you feel like an outsider looking in. So there's just so many tools that you're already like set up in the first place. I mean, we're definitely have always been people who show up late, leave early. So no wonder we feel like outsiders looking in, because we are at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like to get there early to scope out the area. No, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. People should read the book.
Yeah.
Check out the book, An Introvert's Guide to World Domination. And if you show up early, then you get the lay of the land. You get to see who's coming in, see who you want to talk to, know where the seating places are, choose where you're going to sit. It's a huge advantage. And then also you can leave when you want to then too. You can like, all right, I did this recently. There's this big like award ceremony that I was invited to, and I went probably about 45 minutes early. And then when it was starting, I left. And people's like, where are you going? It's starting. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm leaving. They're like, what? Who leaves when it starts? Yeah. So, but I felt that in my attendance, that 45 minutes I was there before it started, I felt that I got what I needed from the experience. And then I left. And I know that whoever was around me at that time, they'll remember me forever because they're like, I can't believe he just left. Who leaves? So now when they see me, they're like, oh, yeah, that's the guy that somehow left right when he had more important things to do, apparently.
I love that. So since you've written that book, you've gone through another transition. It sounds like you retired and went through like another like identity shift, it sounds like.
Yes. So I retired early thinking I had won. I felt, I'm retiring at 49 because I have an older brother and we're really competitive. So I was like, well, I have to retire before he does, so, and this is how things get done. You have to find out what motivates you. One of my motivations is competing with my brother. So I retired and then I was like, okay, yeah, this is great. But then, nobody else retired. So it's just me. Everyone else is working. My identity was wrapped up in that job. I think that phase one of life is that achievement. Your identity is wrapped up in like achievement, like what I do and how well I do it. Mm-hmm. And then once that's separated, because I felt like and I'm not saying I was a big deal at work, but I felt like I was kind of a big deal. I knew where I was in there, but then when I left, it was like I had a bunch of currency that was no longer accepted in this new phase of life. So I was like, what do I do here? And one of the sad things is, or I don't know if it's sad to me, but nobody noticed. So it's one of those things where people would say, oh, did your family, were they concerned about you? And I said, no one noticed. Family and friends, because everyone's like, oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, you did it. And so everybody around me was like, oh, you're good. And I was like, no, I'm not good. But it's hard to say I'm not good when everyone's celebrating you. And then I'm supposed to say, oh, no, I know that all the outside stuff seems fine, but inside I'm struggling because I needed to know what's next. I needed a mission, I needed a North Star. And that's when I was like, I need a reset button or something. And that's when I got the title of this new program, the reset button. I said, if I had a reset button that I could hit to just kind of start fresh. And I saw somebody had said, oh, maybe in another life I can do this. And then I was thinking, well, maybe that other life could start right now.
Yeah.
And so I felt, so there's two pieces of this. There's like the phases that I could say that like that achievement phase where identity's around the, what you do and how well you do it. And then there's the relationship phase that no one ever trains you for. So I look at it like being a warrior out on the plains versus a village elder in the tent, so everyone's like, oh, I'm out there. And that's where the spotlight is, where all the glory is, where, yeah, I'm out on the plains. And like, no, now thank you for your service out there. We're going to need your knowledge here in the tent. And you're like, well, I still have it in me. I can go out there. Yes, we know you have it in you. But, everyone likes Yoda. If you're Star Wars people out there, but the focus is on Luke. No one's like, hey, what's going on with Yoda? Let's spend more time with him. No. They want to be, it's like, do you choose one of these guys? You're like, well, I'll choose Luke. No. Yoda, might have been well, I guess he was at one point. Out there, now he's here. So it's making that transition that no one ever trained you for. I'll pause so you can throw in some 2 cents.
I feel like there I love that you're talking about this, and this is a big focus of yours, especially because the Introverts Guide was epic, so I can only imagine what this is like, your program and your strategy and breaking down, because I feel like there's a big where people are starting to realize that they are not what they have accomplished. There's
Right.
something deeper to them, and there is I don't want to call it a life crisis, but like a reset, like you said, or a rebirth in
Right.
finding who you are. I mean, we've done it multiple times where you reset and try to learn who you are on that deeper level, and it can be super isolating. I totally empathize with you on that, because that's
It can be a lonely journey
yeah.
because it's
Yes.
like I succeeded in my work life.
But what's
right?
it matter?
It sounds like you succeeded at work life, but then you retire and you're like, now what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am
Right.
I actually
And
doing
what was that
now?
all for? I mean, other than to get financially stable and all of that, but you feel
Right.
like what did I accumulate out of all of this, all of these years?
Right. Yeah. It was really tough to try to figure that out. So when I thought about that, maybe this new life can start now. I was like, okay, well, let me build a system. I'm systems oriented. So kind of like with the, yes, yeah, the military structure. And then on the Introvert's Guide to World Domination, I was like, what system can I build to be able to do this? And then so I did that with this. So it starts off with the audit. And so not like the feared IRS audit. We don't want that. This is just a personal audit, a good audit, because to be able to adjust and figure out what we're going to do next, we need to know where we're at and what we have. So I did like a personal audit and find, okay, so for this phase of my life, what can I is still going to serve me? What do I still need to bring along? And then what can I just release that was good in the other previous phase, but isn't going to be useful now? So I can honor and release the previous me. And that looks like, so for me, I wrote a letter out to myself.
Yeah.
And yes, and thanked myself for doing a great job, forgave myself for any mistakes that I made, and just, did just this open heart letter to myself, and then said, okay, thank you. I'm releasing you now. We're starting a different phase, signed it, and then did what's called a bowl burning ceremony where we light it up and we burn it and we release it. That one's gone. And then from the audit, we'll take the pieces that we liked that we wanted to carry forward. And then I look at it like if you were writing a movie screenplay and then you're developing characters. Okay, that first me, I felt like I was given that and I made that work. But now this second me, maybe I can just be what I want to be, within reason, sure, but I can create that. I can pick out characteristics. I can say, okay, now I was always a morning person. Do I still want to be a morning person? Maybe I could be a night person. What's my morning routine like? What do I eat now? I don't have to eat the same thing that I've always had. For music, I can say I can just completely listen to different music. I can just do, symphonies, and that's just what I'm doing now. There's nothing saying that I can't just change these habits to align with what I would like to align with now. And what happens is, so for that finding purpose, it's instead of necessarily, I call it finding purpose, but what happens is the more aligned you get, the more purpose it like reveals itself to you.
It's
And
innate.
so, yes. And another part of this also is during that achievement phase, we give up a lot of things that we don't really think about. And then, so I say, always like revisit that stuff. If you can, during that audit, you might think of some of those things. Like, for example, I used to write a lot of poetry when I was in high school. And then one day I just stopped, and then I had never done it again. And maybe because I was too busy or too cool, who knows? But I said, let me do some more of that to see. And like, maybe it'll be nothing, but maybe if I do it again, it might light that little fire. And I go, oh yes, I remember this part of me that I want to bring back around. And like, I wanted to be a chef when I was 10 years old. I said, I'm going to be a chef one day. And then I never became a chef. Reason being, not super important, but I was like, if I had to do that for a living, I don't think I'd like it anymore. And so I didn't do that. But then I stopped cooking altogether. And then recently I said, wait, I used to love that. Let's get back and let's check it out and see if that's still there. And it is. So there's these things that I would say during that audit, revisit some of those things. And I'll pause just in case you wanted to throw some
Did you
comments
have?
in.
Well, what I will say about it all, and what I've been coming to realization is what you focus on, right, expands in your consciousness and then becomes truth. So, I was in the restaurant industry for 23 years and thought that's what I wanted to do. And then I just was burnt out. I was done.
Right.
I was just couldn't do it anymore. And I went through a phase I didn't know what I wanted to do. And, but I knew like you did, I revisited and I knew I always wanted to travel and do stuff like that. So that's what I started focusing on. And 5, 6, 7 years later, that's what we're doing.
Yes.
I definitely think what you do focus on does expand if you really want it to come true. So it sounds like you're learning that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And so, but when you're getting this new identity down to help reveal some of these other things that you either previously loved or don't even know about yet that you might be into, I say, so you put together that new character of you. This is what I would like this new me to be. And then we have to reinforce that because the old you is going to be like, hey, I'm still here. So you got to try to reinforce this. So a couple things. I did a TEDx talk about social anxiety, about uniforms, power of uniforms. And so a real quick thing on that is like my best friend is a police officer. And when he puts on his uniform, whether he feels like it, whether he likes it or not, he is a police officer and has to conduct himself that way because he has the uniform. And so, and there's all kinds of uniforms in this world. And when people put them on, they are that. And so I said, oh, we can make a private uniform. So for example, for me, I have like a necklace that I say, when I put this necklace on, now I am this. And I have a public speaking bracelet that say this, when I put this bracelet on, I am a public speaker, whether I feel like it or not. That's my thing. I have the uniform on, go out there. And so for this Nick 2.0 identity, put the necklace on and I like, this is me now. The other Nick does not wear necklaces. So this is how I know that this is this version of me. And then to help reinforce this, so I can touch that. And then I also, for my clients, I tell them, and this is the default and these can be adjusted, but I say, and you would have seen this, I think in the book, maybe, take a cooking class, a dancing class, and a language class. And what that does is, and so for the people wondering about how that works for the introvert thing or building a network, if you show up in a new place and you take a cooking class, a dance class, and a language class, you build out a network really quickly. But that carries over to this also because when you get into these scenarios, so like the dance class, that there's no place to hide. You get in there and then they're just like, no, come over here. Here's your partner. And so you can't just sit there. You're forced to be in it and it's intimate. You're dancing with somebody and you're talking and you're introducing yourself as this new person. So after you've got this new person that you are, you're not saying, I used to be, in the restaurant industry, you say, no, this is what I'm doing. I travel around in the camper and it's like we have all these adventures. And so now they know you as this new version of you. And then when you're talking about things that you're interested in, and you always have to, put your interests out there. That was in the book. You put your interests out there and then they will say, oh, maybe, my brother, he also likes campers and things like that. And then so you'll meet people that they'll introduce you to people that they kind of reinforce what you're into. And you might also, they say, oh, he likes campers and fishing. And then maybe you hadn't done fishing and you're like, oh, I've been curious about that. And then perhaps you might go on a fishing thing with this person and discover, oh, this is what I'm doing now. This is going to be my thing. But The cooking class, you're, butchering some new food with a stranger, but you're bonding over this experience, over burning your souffle or whatever. And then the language class, you're butchering a new language with somebody else. And a lot of times people will go out and hang out after that. They're like, what are you doing after this language class? Let's go to practice at, this French restaurant or something. And so you're reinforcing this new identity in these ways. You're getting this new social network that only know you as this and not past you. So that helps keep you in this new frame. And now I'll pause.
I was going to say, I absolutely love that, because one of the things that I find when you're creating a new identity, when you're letting go of old habits and trying to step into your new self, your old network pulls you back. So I love that. That is such a gold. Mind blowing. I love that.
I'm glad you like it. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So it's pretty much the next steps are curating our environment, because we want our environment to reflect this new version of us as well. So we're not in that same, and this is good for you guys that move around a lot. You could say, okay, now we're going to go, this place reminds us too much of this. We're going to go, 200 miles up the road, and then, now we have a whole new,
and
a whole new network of people.
And things tend to trigger old habits and old routines. So changing even just things inside of your personal environment definitely can cause you to have to create new routines. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. And so basically, once we've done all that, then we have like our mission activation. So usually somewhere along after you're going through these, there's going to be a lot of things that are revealed. So instead of, I know I say finding purpose because that's easy to understand, but it's more of the revealing your purpose to you. And so, people will ask, well, what about you? What's your purpose? And so what I discovered is I really enjoy this exercise. I call it to be the angel, where because I would say one day I was sitting around going, do angels exist? And if they do, how do I know I'm not one? And I said, maybe, and not even in a religious way. I was like, maybe I can do miracles. I just can't do them for myself or anyone I know. It has to be a stranger. And then so I would go out and I would say, so now when I wake up in the morning, when I was hitting this slump, I was like, why am I getting up in the morning? What is there today? But now I say, I'm going to make someone's day today. When I open my eyes, I go, so I'm going to make someone's having a great day today. And I don't know how it's going to come about, but if you're, like you said, when you pay attention to something that grows. And so if you're out in the community looking for an opportunity, I'm like, what's it going to be? Who's it going to be? What are we going to do? And it could be something simple, like just listening to somebody, and seeing someone. And so, for example, it could be, many years ago, I was a sandwich artist at Subway and the Subway sandwiches, and people would come in and treat you like a robot. And, so now I will sit there and I will say, it could be the lunch rush, and I'll say, how are you? How's the day been? And I engage with them. I want them to be feel seen as a person. And it could be something simple like that, please and thank you. And so for that person, it could be something simple. It could be something more like getting somebody a tank of gas when they weren't expecting it. It could be something like it that was in the book with the yacht parties thing, where you say, hey, let's go to the mall and get some people.
I love that idea.
I think in your book, there was something that you took people out to lunch.
Took random people to lunch.
People to lunch.
Oh, yes. I did the lunch with a stranger day.
I thought that was cool. I mean, that's just a really cool way to meet somebody, and you just never know who you're going to meet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot all about take someone to lunch. That was really fun. Then we did like the caviar thing too.
Yeah, the caviar was great too. Yeah.
Yeah. And for the listeners that don't know, I wanted to try caviar, and I said, well, why should I try it alone? Let me share an experience with some other people. So I was like, who wants to try caviar? Let's send out an invite to everyone who happened to be working on that weekend at the company, and say, hey, in the break room at this time, we're having caviar. We got several of all the stuff. Let's try it. And I found out, not for me, not my cup of tea, but now I know. But we all bonded over that experience.
Oh, then people are never going to forget that experience.
Yes.
Whether they liked it or not, that was another cool experience I really thought was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's these simple things. So for me these days, my North Star, what I really enjoy doing is just that, who's it going to be today? I'm going to make somebody's day today. And like I said, it doesn't have to be something expensive. It can be something that's just as simple as spending time with somebody, listening to someone, seeing someone. And then you can also, if you do want to spend some money, you can get creative with it and do some fun things. But that's what really lights me up. I really enjoy that. And then sure, I have some hobbies too, but that's like the number one thing that really expressed itself, that showed up. Like I said, when you do these things, then things are revealed. Some of your purpose is revealed to you. And this might not be my forever purpose, but for right now, this is what is really feeling right. And so I'm doing that until, something else comes along, and I still will do it. But if something else comes along where I say, okay, because I'm getting out there and I'm putting myself in these situations, and then stuff shows up, and then I investigate and say, okay, is that calling to me? Is that something that I want to go more into or not? But at least it got me out of that slump. And now every day I have that thing to look forward to.
Right? You're getting out of bed for purpose.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's what I'm helping people to do. And I always tell people, because I'm not one of these strong arm folks that say, oh, I'm the only one that can help you do this. I'll tell you, you don't need me. You can do this. But if you would like my help, I am available for that as well.
I love that. You're the Yoda.
So through the reset the reset button, are you going to open like a coaching business or a mentorship for people to help like step by step, and you're going to be the voice of their encouragement?
Yes, at the moment I'm doing one-on-one coaching. So, and what I like about that is in a lot of other programs out in the world, people say, a member of my team. And I'm like, no, it's not a member of my team. It's me. It's me. And so right now, because I'm not concerned about, for business stuff, people always say, well, you can't really scale if it's just you. And I'm not interested in scaling.
Yeah.
I'm interested because it helps me too. That one-on-one, I love it just as much as the clients love it. So I will keep it small, keep it intimate, and I am doing the one-on-one coaching, and then I'm probably developing some other little spin-offs of it. But right now it's just the one-on-one coaching. So if this resonates with them and they want my help, they can get it. And if they want to just try to figure it out, do an audit and, go through these steps that we've talked about, they can do it and be successful. And, you don't have to, but it is nice to have some accountability and the structure and someone to say, all right, come on, let's go, to nudge you along. So
I think a lot of people want that. They want a coach in their back pocket cheering them on. So I do think that's important. And I think, you have a lot of great ideas to bring anybody. So personal coaching with you is going to bring highlights of their life. That's what I'll say. I've only known you for 40 minutes.
But you did read the book, so you got a lot of insight into how I do things.
Well, in our life, in the last 2 or 3 years, we've been reading a lot of books. So I did appreciate you giving the book, and it has opened up our mind for our life. So through reading and self-development.
Thank you. That's high praise.
We're each other's coach and accountability.
Yes.
Which gets a little rough sometimes when your spouse is also your accountability.
Yes, that could be. Yeah. Yeah, you have to tread lightly with that sometimes.
What I love is that you mentioned that this is what you're doing now. That's not who you have to be forever. And I think so many people get stuck in, you know, it looks unstable is what they're afraid of.
Or this is the
Externally,
only thing I know how to do.
yeah, externally, nobody is going to know who I am, or people are going to think I'm crazy, that I'm going through a midlife crisis. But your life is your life. You only get one, and you can do whatever you want with it. If today you want to be a painter, then be a flippin' painter. Life's too short not to be. If next week you decide you hate paint, you never want to touch it again, that's okay. You wouldn't have known if you hadn't tried.
Right. You always can opt out. Just like on the earlier talk about the introvert stuff showing up at an event. You can leave.
Yeah.
You can leave. So then with these things, you try it out, see what calls to you, and it could call to you for that week. And you say, I'm really passionate about this week. And that gets you out of bed and gets you going. And then you can say, you know what? Just like bird watching. We had a little bird watching thing here a few months back where I think we got a little obsessed with bird watching, and then the bird watching obsession went away. And so, but there's a lot of bird watching equipment and stuff here at the house just in case it comes back. But no one's making me have to continue doing it. But it was fun for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go back to it. It's just enjoying different experiences. And I think when you reach retirement, I do think that's what you're supposed to do, is get many, many experience. For me, anyways, I want to experience so many things. So, and I think, that's what I'm going after, not living the conventional life and just work. I want to do any hobby. If somebody wants to invite me to something, I would love to try it.
Yes, exactly. That's what
Except
it's all about.
For eating bird poop. I want to try.
Special circumstances for the listeners.
I admire you.
I have to put it in context for the listeners. So, I was in Nicaragua. I was staying with the family. There was they served us dinner, and there was some children there that were messing around, and so they got the attention of the adults. No one saw this bird fly in and poop on my plate, and then there wasn't any extra food. I saw in the kitchen there was no, so I can't say there's something wrong with this. And my Spanish at the time wasn't sufficient enough to explain what happened, so I just mixed it in and I ate it. And then I waited to die that night, but I didn't die. Nothing happened. There were no ill effects whatsoever. And I don't think you could taste it. Well, I didn't have anything to compare. I didn't have with and without to compare the taste, but it seemed okay. But yeah, I'm not. So anyone listening, this is not coaching advice where I'm telling you that you need to eat bird food.
No, I would have did the same thing. I think I would have did the same thing in that circumstance. That circumstance that will probably never happen to you again.
Right. I hope not.
That's like winning the lottery. I hope you know that. You won the lottery.
Yes. Yeah, and bird poop's supposed to be good luck. Yeah. So.
I will tell you a short story. So I was going to an unemployment mediation, and the owner of the company I was working for had to attend this mediation. We're trying to settle out of court, whatever. And we get out of the car and we're walking into the mediation, and a bird pooped on the owner of this company, right down his face, down his shirt, and he had no other shirt. And he was so embarrassed. But again, he didn't know what else to do. So he took it like a champ. He wiped it off and he went in with bird poop on his and said exactly what you said. He's like, this has got to be some kind of luck. This is my lucky day. And we went in there going to negotiate. We had $10,000 to give this person up to $100,000. As soon as we said $10,000, they took it. When he left, he said, that was my lucky day.
Yes.
Because we would have settled out of court for $100,000. I know that has nothing to do with your experience, but the bird poop thing, could be lucky.
Right. Yeah. It's just shifting the view, shifting how you look at it.
Yeah, shifting the view. So yeah, that was a funny story. I'll never forget that day. It was
And he won't either.
no, and you won't forget yours. And you,
Right.
so I got a question because I see that you did some stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Is that part of your stand-up? Is that situation? Or you never used it?
I never used that in stand-up comedy.
Oh, okay. 'Cause,
Yeah.
man, I think you would get a hit on it. Do you still
Thank
do
you.
that, or that's not part of your life?
I still do it. I do it on occasion, and I'll be doing it, I think, next month again. I was invited to go and do some more because I kind of dialed back a little bit from it, but I do enjoy it. I love getting up on stage and saying the jokes and things like that, and it's just getting those reps in. So for back on the introvert, shy, and socially awkward thing, when we talk about public speaking, I found like when I first started, I was terrified, and I said, well, maybe it's one of those things that if you just keep doing it, then it just gets easier. And it takes a lot of reps to make it easier. But then finally, nowadays, it's like nothing so I was like, oh, so I give speeches, I speak about different topics, and then also the stand-up comedy. It's like, oh, this is even more challenging because if I'm talking about the book, let's say, then I'm just telling you, hey, here's some information.
Yeah.
But the comedy, I'm like, here's something, and then I'm trying to get something back. I'm trying to actually entertain and get someone to laugh. And, sometimes it goes really well. And there's been several times where, I've actually been booed, like active booing. And I enjoy those too, because I go, okay, well, this is something, this is quite an experience. And it gives me a story because I can say, oh, remember that time that I got booed? Yeah. It's part of it. It's part of that experience. So kind of like, I had to eat bird poop that one time and I got booed. I didn't get booed off stage. Yeah. I just got booed and I remained on stage.
Yeah. And reversed it or whatever. This young lady did Toastmasters. She was so inverted.
Oh,
and it really helped her.
Yeah, Toastmasters
and it's about repetitions. When you go, I don't know if you've done Toastmasters, but she would have to talk in front of a group of people often.
Yes. Yeah. I went to some initial Toastmasters things. I never got fully involved in the organization, but I know a lot of people that are in it. And yeah, it seems like they do a lot of really good work.
They're like you, helping people. So it's important.
I will say, it's like you said, you have to engage yourself more. I mean, even 5 years ago, me thinking about doing a podcast and weekly talking about the awful things that happen while traveling and the fun things that happen and having deep, beautiful, inspiring conversations with amazing people on a camera. Like, I just couldn't imagine doing it. But I was a tour guide at the Grand Canyon for a while. I was a server before that. So those little things, I mean, you're performing in those jobs. And so it helps you when you look back. I feel like many times your purpose, essentially, or where you end up thriving in life, is the things that you needed to overcome the most, the things that were the most difficult for you to transition through and find your way through, ends up being your biggest gift to the world.
Right. Yes, I agree with that. There's challenges are put in place, and then, it's what you do with them. And if you can somehow navigate through that, there's so much cool stuff on the other side of that. So yeah, I'm still learning every day, whether it's the introvert thing, just like in the book I've talked about. Well, there's circumstances where if I spoke with people or if I was coaching someone, they'd say, well, what about this? And it would be some completely new thing where I'm like, what is that circumstance? And then I would go put myself in it, because it's one thing to sit around. Like, I don't like the theory part. It's like, well, it should work like this. No, I say, I will go out and put myself in this situation. And then when I'm in it, I have to go, okay, now what would you do here? And that's happened several times and, still continues to happen to this day. But then once I have that knowledge, then I'm more equipped. I've taken that level up, but then I can show others, okay, here's what happens. And so I love being able to help other people out when there's these special circumstances that come up that you wouldn't normally think about. But if you have the knowledge, or I feel comfortable speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Like, no, I have been through this. I've seen this. So when you are here, try this. And once again, people always say, I have to say, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, or any sort of professional on that end. I'm just a person that's went through some situations, and then I try to build systems around it that have worked for me, not something that I just read somewhere, but that I actually went through myself.
You did it. Yeah, you did it. And you came out on the other side with that knowledge to be able to present to other people. And I think that's so important. And I think that you coaching people personally, not just, hey, this is the guy that works for me, he's going to coach you today, is so more impactful than a big company. So I do like that. And I think you bring a lot to the table.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm personally invested in people's success. It's one of those things where, and I think this is in the book. It's been a while since I've read my own book, but I think it was when I was talking about mentors, and it's when somebody gives you advice. So I always say, like, for a mentor to ask for advice, and then they will give you some advice. And then if you do what they said, or one of the things that they told you to do, and then you come back and follow up and say, I did this, then they take this interest in you. They're like, oh, this is one of my people. And so it's the same when I'm coaching someone. I can be like, okay, here's what we're doing. And then we're going through it. And then there's always some people that'll be like, okay, I think I can do it from here, and then you're like, okay, did you do the thing? And they're like, no, I didn't do it yet, but I'm going to do it. And then there's other people that will do it and say, okay, I did it, and this happened. And then now I'm invested in them. I'm like, okay, now we're making progress. So the more progress that they make, their success is my success.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same when you're getting mentors out in the world. If you ask for advice, so for my coaching, I am really invested in people's success. So, because I want to see, oh, they did it. And so sometimes, like I said, sometimes people will procrastinate and they just won't. You can be like, come on, let's go. Yeah. And then they won't do it. But other people, like, okay, I did this one first step. And they're excited. And then I'm excited. I'm like, okay, what happened this week? Tell me what happened this week. What'd you do? What'd you learn? And then it's once again on that, almost like that be the angel thing. It's like, oh, I'm helping this person. I'm seeing them grow, and I'm experiencing their transformation through
vicariously.
Vicariously through them.
You're
so
celebrating with them, you're living the wins. And then
when you're celebrating with them, it makes them feel so good, even though it makes you feel good.
Yes.
They're going to continue to grow because you made them feel so good.
Yes. And so, yeah, it's definitely a wonderful experience to be able to, it's sad that I had to have some of these, these slumps, but it's the building the systems to get out of the slumps, and then saying other people must be doing this too. They must have these issues. And now, hey, here's a way. I'm not saying that all my techniques for whether it's defining your purpose or it's, navigating the world as an introvert, I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but it is a way that has worked. And with different personality types, maybe my way would also work for you or your listeners.
Yeah. I love it so much. I really appreciate more than out of your book, and I imagine it's the same thing because you're talking about self-auditing and figuring out where you are. At the core, authenticity is the heart of it all. It's be who you are. And, whether it's the world domination book or finding your purpose, it's too difficult to maintain a mask. And I love that authenticity is the heart of what you do and what you find. And I just think you have such a beautiful way of illustrating and relating because of you being your authentic self. like you said, if other people are going through, if you're going through it, other people are going through it too. And so I just think
Right.
it's inspiring, frankly, the things that you've overcome and been able to do what you're doing now. I feel like people see the picture, or they see, the person that they want to be, emulated in someone else. And they're like, I could never do that. I can't be that person. But we all are human. We all have the same emotions, the same struggles, limiting beliefs, things that hold us back, social awkwardness, whatever it is. And having, I think, connection to other people helps you realize that you're not alone. And I think for many, maybe that's the first biggest step, is getting out there. Like you said, go to a cooking class, learn that other people are a first time doing things as well. Nobody's an expert when they first start.
Right.
So such great advice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. And the one thing that when you're talking remind me of that I'll also share with the your listeners is maybe think of imposter syndrome when we're talking about authenticity. And I was talking with someone just a couple days ago about this you don't have to show up and act like you know everything. Just say, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on here. And I said, then it takes all the pressure off of you, and somebody is going to be thrilled to share their knowledge with you and help walk you through the steps. So it's so much easier to just say, I don't know. And even if you kind of know,
Yeah.
you could still say, and I talk about going to polo events all the time in the book, and if you ask me to explain polo to you, I can't do it. I see polo all the time. I still have no idea what's going on. I have a general idea, but if I show up and I'm not going to show up and act like I know what's going on, because I only kind of know. So I'll say, I don't know. I come to these all the time and I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for the snacks, and then somebody will explain it to me, and then I'll say, let me try to remember this time. Exactly. But I'm not there to really necessarily watch
Yeah.
and engage with the game. I'm there for the social aspect.
Absolutely. Because in the book, I also liked when you're talking about treating everybody in a social event from the bottom to the top and not differentiating them people. They're all just the same humans. And you're not brown nosing an executive or that belittling the dishwashers per se. You're treating everybody on the same level of play. And I think that in life, that's important. So I like you brought that up in the book, because I do think that's important information.
Oh yeah, it's huge. So many great experiences I've had in my life have been because I treated somebody really well that was just like it could have been the cleaning crew, or just just someone bussing a table, or a waiter, waitress. Just looking back at it. Yeah. So many things. It opens up so many doors. Just once again, seeing people as a person. You are a human being and I respect you, and you're not looking down at them. People remember that. And if there is something a way that they can help you, a lot of times they will reach out. They'll invite you to do things. And once again, you have to show up. You'll be like, well, I don't know what this is going to be about, but I will show up. And then, there's so many cool things that can happen. And so even if it's the super top boss, it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't quite land if you're kissing up to them, because everybody's kissing up to them all the time. And so if you just treat them that same, with respect, but, it always somehow seems to work in your favor when you do that.
Yeah. And I don't want to keep giving away the book, and obviously there's so much more going on.
There's plenty of stuff in the book. You can say whatever you want.
But I
shouldn't have read it.
I know. Well, it really has really opened up my mind on possibilities, and it's so easy, like you mentioned in the book, to gush about the VIP or the host or whoever's important at a particular event, but when you meet them, a lot of the time they're not quite what you were expecting, and they're not even the person that you connect with. And talking to those people outside in a other circumstances, you actually build the deeper connections and get more out of that. And I just think that we get so caught up in that hierarchy and forget that, again, everybody's a person. Everybody has their own private life and things that they're self-conscious about and things they're working through going on. We're all people.
Right. Yes, it's amazing to me how many VIPs that when I've met them, I've been like, oh, huh, this is not, I thought that this was going to be different.
Yeah.
But like you say, their entourage or one of their friends, like this, oh, I really like this person over here. And yeah, I don't know. I know that we project a lot. Well, I know people present themselves a certain way, but then we also project our images and hopes and dreams and whatever onto that person as well. And it's hard for them to always, live up.
And on the flip side, our self-consciouses, our anxieties and all, they're going to judge me. They're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to, both sides of it,
Right.
Yeah.
It's happened where I've spoken on a stage and then somebody's come up to me and then they said, I'm so nervous. And I'm like, what? You're nervous to talk to me? I'm just, it's really humbling also that, when it switches around, but I try to put people at ease as much as possible. And cause I'm just some regular guy. And, one of my favorite things, and I talk about this a lot. I talked with you guys. I've realized how much in my daily conversation some of these things come up. And one of the things when I go to, I think, I don't know where I initially started it, but I had made some kind of announcement at some point where if you are really struggling, shy, socially awkward, introverted, and you see me at an event, just come and stand next to me. Just stand there. And so whenever I said that, apparently it's gotten out because when I show up, the guys will just come up and they're just, they'll just stand there and I go, oh, okay, this is one of those circumstances. So then I'm like, okay, let's go. And then because then I will lead you through, like, you don't have to say anything, just stand there and just follow me and I'll kind of take you and I'll get you settled in and we'll go through it. But it's fascinating to me how often that has happened. And I have to realize, oh, something like, why is this guy just standing here? And then I go, oh, wait, this is one of those things where he heard me say, hey, just come and stand next to me. And then I'll kind of follow me through. I will get you introduced to people and we'll get you seated and in a spot that you can at least somewhat thrive more than if you were doing it alone. I have no problem doing that. But there's all these little things that pop up, and I hope I'm not rambling too much about this, but yeah, it's just, I really enjoy, once again, this comes back to seeing people kind of make that little bit of progress. And so I just love seeing somebody that, especially if I see them at multiple events where I go, oh, last time they were, because there's, I consider myself, I'm fairly, I have these systems now that I can do it, but I know what it's like to be super struggling in a social scenario. And when I see someone like that the first time, and then I see them at another event, and then they're a little bit more, I'm like, oh, look at this. Look at what happened. And a lot of times I'll address it. I'll say, oh, I noticed, I see. And I saw someone give a speech once. And when people are public speaking, I watch them to see, because I'm like, okay, how are they doing? What are they doing with their body language? How are they projecting? And this one guy was thinking, I wonder, is this could be this person's first time ever doing this? Because they were struggling. But, after they were done, I just said, hey, good job. You got up there, you did it. And then the next time I saw them speak, like 2 months later, totally different, way better. And I was like, oh man, did you notice, what have you been doing? What happened? Last time you got out there, you did it. This time, crushed it. What, because I want them to get that feedback loop of, hey, I recognized that you did it. Not that everyone needs to wait for the validation from the outside person, but I like to help that along if I can, in the positive way, to be like, oh yes, I noticed. Good job. I don't know if I'm just rambling now. So.
You're building their confidence, so it's great.
Yeah.
So it's important. So Nick, if somebody wanted to be coached by you, how would they get a hold of you?
They'd go to resettheman.com. Women can go there too.
All right.
But I needed a domain name. Resettheman.com was available. So resettheman.com. They can also find me on LinkedIn. And it's just my smiling face there. Easy to find. Nick Shelton. It'll pop right up. But that's how you'd find me. And once again, if this resonates with you and you would like my help, yes, please swing by, reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
I love it so much.
I'll tell you another funny story. When I first Googled you, it said you were the mayor in Michigan.
I've seen that too. That's another Nick Shelton. I'm sure it's a.
I was like, I didn't read anything that he's the mayor, so I got to look a little deeper.
Yes.
So is there anything we didn't touch on that you want to get out to our viewers?
One extra thing I would say is, so there's somebody out there that's listening that's probably like, okay, I've heard about the introvert stuff. I've heard about the, finding your purpose, but sometimes people are really struggling. They're in that slump, the heart of the slump. And they're like, I'm just trying to make it through the day sort of thing. And if that's the case, first, naturally, if you have someone to call somebody, text someone, let them know, because when that happens with me, when someone calls me, I'm honored. A lot of times people say, I don't want to bother anybody, but if somebody called me, I'm honored to help them out. And, if you have someone to call, or if you don't, there's numbers also, but if you call somebody, let them know. But another thing you can do because once again, I'm not a therapist or anything, but I would like to leave your listeners with this. You can do what I call a dignity scan. And on my website, I'm going to have it. I'm in the process of putting it up. I don't have a web person. I'm the web person. Yeah. I'm going to put it up. So
feel that
it'll be up in the next, very shortly by the time your listeners hear this. But there'll be a dignity scan where it just kind of reminds you, who you are, that you're still in there. And so it'll have some prompts like, what is a skill that you have, and so then you'd write that out. How do you know that you have this skill? Write that out. Okay. What is a person? Can you name one person that you care about? You just need to do one thing for each answer. One person that you care about. Write that person's name down. How do you know? Write how you know. Is there anybody that you can think about that cares about you or has ever cared about you? Write their name. How do you know? Write that down. And so there's these prompts like this, and it kind of just gives you that little memory, that little introspection to remind you that you are still in there, and gets that little pilot light a little brighter to kind of get you going. So
I like that.
It's like smaller than an audit, the personal audit that I talked about earlier. This is just more of a dignity scan, because if you can get remind yourself of a little dignity in there, then that's like the bridge to moving forward and at least making it through the rest of the day.
So beautiful. So important. I appreciate you so much for coming on, Nick. This has been amazing. It's been awesome to talk to you. Amazing to meet you. Thank you so much for sharing so many insights.
Yeah. And I love all your work. I love that you help people. And I can't wait to bring somebody out to lunch.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. You guys are wonderful.
Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.